Start it up here. Just making sure everything's in place. Yeet. Normie Nid, Sunflower Child. So Stanley Parable. I've only seen. I've seen a little bit of this game. Like I get what I think what the concept is. You know, you're going through an office and some dude's narrating, but I don't know much aside from that. I know it's a bit tongue in cheek, and I know they're coming out with some like I don't know what to call it, a remake or a sequel or something in the nearish future. But I had this game in my Steam library and never played it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. The end is never the end is never the end is loading.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Also, let me know how the audio is.
Stanley
Loud or
worked for a
quiet
company
or
in a big building where
what I
he
need to
was
do.
employee number
Like if I need to be
427.
turned up or the game needs to be turned
Employee
down.
number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley
I'm a little quiet.
was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar
Something that would have forever changed Stanley. Sorry, I alt-tabbed at the worst time. Let me just adjust the volume real quick. So, bring that down to here. And just turn the stream up. So I'm keeping my audio the same, but the game is a little lower. So if you turn the stream up, it should be good. Let me know how it sounds now. Is there some sensitivity here? Oh, there's no. It has controller support, but I can't. Okay, it doesn't matter. I was gonna adjust the sensitivity a little bit.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Oh, computer turned off. That's something. This dude just has a pencil sharpener for a desk? Okay. Yeah, nobody's here. What is this game about? It seems to be you are an office worker. Some strange thing is going on, and you have a narrator being kind of cheeky, talking about what you're
When
doing.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Okay.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Just keep... Okay.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Okay. Well,
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley.
it's inching me
I'm
forward
trying to
right
get
now.
you
I'm
to
not
see
doing that.
something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Oh. Okay.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Oh no, he's gonna kill me. Yeah, I'm not pressing that button.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Sure.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button.
That was a
Now
couch.
he's eating lunch.
Right?
Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Watch TV.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Spend time with the boys.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Okay.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
I'm not sure what the problem is. Is the stream running fine for everybody else? A sec. Kevin might be having issues, but I'm gonna check something real quick. Do I have? Yeah. Turn the graphics up. Oh, game crashed. Okay. Yeah, I guess the game needs to restart when I do that. I wish I had gotten a notification that it would do that. Like the game needs to restart for these settings to go through, sort of thing. It looked a little crusty. I'm sorry. Maybe. Oh. Maybe it'll just continue me where I left off?
This is the story of a man. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting.
Just gonna blaze through.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not sure.
Let me make sure that the options actually went through and that the game just didn't crash also. Oh, the game did just crash. I mean, this game isn't, it's not too big or high intensive, right? Please don't crash. Maybe I should do it from the fucking main menu. This is stupid. Oh my god. My computer should be able to handle turning this stuff on high. I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, there we go again. Well, let's try medium for these things. Okay, let's try high for these things. They just need to do it from the main menu, otherwise it'll crash? Is that what the deal is? Is that what I'm learning? Yikes. So yeah, apparently you can change the graphics of the main menu,
All
and it
of
won't
his
be an issue.
co-workers were
But
gone. What
we
could it
should be
mean?
good now.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what to say. I didn't
When
think the
Stanley
game would
came to a
crash
set of two open,
for
this
changing
was
the
not
options.
the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
So one
Perhaps
more
he wanted
time,
to stop by the
we're gonna
employee
listen
lounge
to
first,
ominous
just to
shit.
admire it.
Not a good way to start.
Truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I mean, the game is running smooth.
Stanley was so bad
not
at
like
following directions, it's incredible
The game
he
can't
wasn't
run
5
these
years ago.
settings. It's the game crashes
Look, Stanley,
if you
I
try
think
to
perhaps
change the
we've
video
gotten off
settings
on the
in the
wrong
middle of the
foot
game.
here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right.
I like how the X and A
Okay,
button
there we go.
make
All
keyboard
right,
noises no
now,
matter
I
what
want you to come in
you're
and tell me
interacting
all
with.
about
Your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Sure, I'll listen to him this time. Kind of tempting. Oh, you can crouch. This changes everything.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Oh. Oh, okay. Guess I died.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley
Bad
decided
end.
to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Stop thumping around! Sorry, something upstairs is thumping.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Sure.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might
Tips for
find
not
an
getting
answer
fired.
there.
Don't get fired. Profits. People don't know how to spell profits. Midway down there. Need to spell the other profits. I am unique. It's all just fucking tongue-in-cheek. Uh-huh. Oh, wow. What? Boss appreciation minute. Circle the top 20 things you love most about your boss. Fill out in triplicate and return to your boss. I'm sorry, a lot of this is just like text. It goes by a little too quick for me to read it out loud. Okay. Cycles through. A lot of percent. Space between the teenagers. Throw something in the ideas bin. 1. No more bins. Trash cans. 2. Renaming of the ideas can. 3. Fixing of me. Ideas bin. Post-review. This is all just like... We gotta find something to put on a whiteboard. How about ideas? Whiteboard manager. Uh-huh. Yep. spend too much. Sorry, I wanted to
Stanley
get to the
stepped
broom.
into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
I want this broom.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Let's get the tools I could use. I can always use some duct tape. Yeah, a
It
wrench
was
for fighting
baffling
off.
that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Fuck all.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
If I duck down. Give me the
You
wrench.
do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is
Wow.
addicted to drugs and hookers.
Somebody's judging.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they
Sorry, dude.
understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the
Get headphones,
irony
nobody hears
and
this.
insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway. Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
It's pretty shiny things on the shelf. And this broom, it's like perfectly lit. Okay, I think he might be done talking.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I really don't care if the boss is alive. Are we going to Helltown? Is it be hell down here?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
We are in hell.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Well, it's a second death ending. Is there actually a broom closet ending?
A soft wind
Or is the
blew
broom closet
outside and
ending
perhaps
just
rain
sitting there?
started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Yeah, it's all white. You know what? This game, I like this game. I don't know if you guys care. There's not much for me to say. Staying in the broom closet is the broom closet ending. It's like an ending that goes on and on. Gotcha. It's like having the game over screen on old NES games. It just sticks there, and you take a picture, and yep, I got that ending. Look at that. Yeah, there's not a lot to talk about, or there is a lot to talk about, but I can't talk because he's constantly talking. So as far as commentary goes, I hope you are okay with it being kind of light for this game, because it is not conducive for me talking over it. I feel like it'd be ruining it. So if I'm just sitting there silent, I'm still here.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
Nope, let's do
this
this
was
again.
not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I'll listen to him this time.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
It's glowing, right? Well, going to hell again. See you, boys. Gonna die some
But
other
Stanley
way.
didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now, in order to get back, he needed to go, from here, it's, left.
Okay. But in... Okay. Okay.
Oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake.
I mean, I tried to open that door, but...
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh, dear. Would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep. Okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Oh.
No, 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 no. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story
Is that
completely
437?
unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
How many endings are there? Over 100? Oh no. That's 19? So we've gotten 3 endings now, right?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The right one. Okay, so this time we'll go right.
When Stanley... Wait, what?
Wait.
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Or did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Sure. Can I go this way? No way you open this door. There's chairs in the way, my dude. Can't go that way. Oh, wait. I can go that way. What's that, it's a creepypasta or, SCP or something like that. It's just like, office hallway. It's like a really weird... It's just very specific.
This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not? All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
This is already slightly different. The computer usually turns off, and
okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Sure. Okay.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
This is all just like a psychological torture device.
Now this...
Oh.
Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! Hey. I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job.
All right.
Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Boy. Ha!
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Yeah, sure. Pretty sure it was this way, though. Right.
No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
The line TM. Also, how's the game sound again? Just another checkup. The game and my voice, is everything sound? You can hear me talking, you hear the game fine. Is it all good? We're like 45 minutes into it, but kind of want to know. Solitaire. Oh, let me play a game. Let me play a game. Sounds good? Okay. Yes, the line. The yellow line.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right?
Store wasn't open before.
Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental
Wait a minute.
construct?
I came from this way.
Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
It's a little too loud. Okay, it's a little loud. How's the sound now? Mr. Narrator? Please turn off the music. It's really fucking loud. Oh god. I have to end this quickly. Why is it so loud? Why is it so damn loud? Oh. God. Wait, what? Whoa! Whoa! Are you seeing this? This mindfuckery? Oh no. It's like parallel universes going on here. And this is... Oh. Yeah. Holy shit.
Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Don't turn the music back on, please. Can I look back at the mindfuckery down here? Yeah, that's the hallway, and then... Whoa. Hang on. Oh, this is it right here, right? Oh, it's not doing it anymore. That's interesting. Huh. It's no longer doing the looping thing. That's... Okay, what if I go this way? Nope. Just don't turn the music back on, please.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, You do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
We went through that door earlier. Oh.
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you,
427.
after everything
There we
we've
are.
been through, you... Oh, I can't take this
Right in the
anymore.
leg.
To hell with it. Restart.
No! I want to see what's on the screen! Oh! Fuck! Restart again. Probably safer to have an actual restart, huh?
You
Want
know
me to do
what,
it?
Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh,
No music.
This all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Sure.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be?
We keep going
Go
around.
wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
That hallway's a little longer than this hallway. No, it's not. And now there's a hallway here. This is some portal shit. It's like some MC Escher
no,
nonsense.
not you again. Stanley,
The line.
I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
We're following the line now. Up there it goes. And out. Should be good now.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Just keep walking in circles. Okay. Oh.
Hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well,
Black space,
who
wonder in
consulted
darkness,
me?
find a
Why
bookstore.
don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped
like either
like
door
this.
led here.
I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped. Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, Okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination, so I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
What the fuck? Ah. Okay. Loud noise, sorry. That's, I think that's part of the game. Well,
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so personally to Stanley? Its grace? Its subtle charm? No. Stanley knew it was something deeper, something darker.
hey, we didn't have something happen with that fern.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Yikes. I missed some dialogue there. Whoops.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he might find an coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Fancy. This is a little too tall.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never... Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever result in a correct combination. If he knew that the combo was 2845. But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by side.
Oh, that might have been a legit crash.
And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know what happened. The game freaked out a little bit. I don't think I should be having trouble with this game. It's not too graphically intensive. It's just like a walking simulator, more or less.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
There's also no up arrow. This elevator only goes down.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Yeah, it is true.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Well, YOLO. Well, time to die.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Oh, here's my office. Going, yeah, this is shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path of Stanley's office to the two doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development. The core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. Then to the two doors. Make sure the player reaches the 2 doors in good time. The 2 doors was the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable's design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of an exploration of the contradiction this room posed. Yeah, just if there's a word I would have to, or a phrase I would have to say for this game, it's self-aware. Very fourth wall breaky. Button sounds. Okay. Okay. That one. Keyboard stroke and synthesized tone. Oh, you can't turn that back on. That's fun. Ah. Not a single person named Stanley worked on this game. Writing. I wonder what else he's done. Made using Source. That's what's going on. This reminds me of Source. It's made in Source. It lags up a bit, like Left 4 Dead, during some cutscenes. Like you'll be riding helicopter to safety, and as it fades out, it boop boop boop, and like lags up, and the voice gets caught. Having a museum of the game's assets is also very self-aware. Warzone. Fighting aliens. Sentient would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some other people interpreted it as making fun of people who liked shooters, which was not our intention. Huh. Pencil sharpener and the phone. Oh. So we'll give you 15 seconds to pick up the phone. Not picking up the phone would lead to a different ending. Ah. Confusion. Well, we got the confusion ending. That's okay. Zending. Z ending? I guess this is a spoiler for if we get that ending, I guess. Ah. Just giving it a look. I think we're pretty close to the that doorway back there. I think led to the dim the room to make it more depressing. Okay. Yeah, I think I've had enough. I'm gonna go ahead and just move on. Huh. Yeah, exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let... Time...
Oh. I see.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, I had a feeling there was
Yet there was not a
there on a
single
black
person
screen.
here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Oh my god. Here we go. I had a feeling something would happen if I hit the code in before you actually said it. Come on, play the piano,
Feeling
Stanley.
soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Piano is just a computer with musical button presses. You get a keyboard. You know.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Well, probably gonna get mad at me for pressing this, but
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers.
It's me in the middle.
The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Wait, to change. Yeah, there's. Okay.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Hey, button. Uh-huh. It's a big red button right there. Let's try. 2, 1. I don't see a 4. Oh, there it is up there. There's a specific order to press it on. I guess I'll hit the big red button, right? Different noises every time. Let's just press it in order. 1, 2. 3. 4. If this doesn't do anything, I'll just go to the next room. 5. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, unless I press the red button after all that. No.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Oh, and here we are again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, this narrator
Yet
has it out
there
for
was
me.
not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
It's like just done. Alright, we've done this before.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never... blackness, and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Now that you say it. I'm really interested in this chair. This box. Okay.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Sounds like a mind control thing to me. Beat the game? Okay. Oops. Here I am again. What ending did I miss? Because I feel like I did.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I know I didn't stand in the lounge that long. What is this new? Is there always...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yep.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time understood true happiness. Then the feeling went away, and he felt sad again. Then it came back, and lingered for a minute or two. Now it's only half there. Just a kind of, tingle.
Go back to the phone room, you can unplug the phone.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Some coffee. Anybody want some coffee? I made some coffee.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
I'm gonna get the lounge ending.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue. But when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Oh, yeah, we'll see. Mhm.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else, but in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job,
That's an
Stanley.
ending.
Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
You can also, there we go. Yeah, you can also jump off the moving platform that takes you to the phone room. What do you know? Alright, we'll unplug the phone. Oh,
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room? A connection between the two? Could a man love a room? I mean, truly, truly, deeply, madly love. Yes, really, really worth it. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
here we go. Phone time.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Wait.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Danger everywhere. Okay. Good sign. Didn't think there would be an actual platforming puzzle.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
I go doing what you didn't say again.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Oh, there's blue door here.
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
There's a lot of choices in this jumping off the platform thing.
Okay,
Oops.
I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
My leaderboard. These are not my friends. Skip the intro sequence. Only the 3% of the player chose the blue door. More attractive than Stanley. The very bottom, you're objectively ranked. Friends list empty. Wow. Huh. If I go through this door again.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
We're gonna play a different game.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I mean, I don't know if I want to do this for 4 hours. Listen, I could sit here and keep pressing the button, but there's a... I don't think I want to. This is actively making me the bad guy because I'm not pressing the button to save the baby. Oh boy. Couldn't have another baby cry sound effect. Or another button sound effect that's less jarring and loud. It's almost like it's punishing you. It's like, yep, that's a wrong button noise. Oh, God. I'll give it 3 more. Then this baby's on its own. You know what? It's had its... It's choosing to do this at this point. My hands are tied.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here?
Call me out.
Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Oh, no.
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose.
Are they allowed to do this?
Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here, no, here, and then. Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course, and just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
Game.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Oh, you let me out. No. It's similar, but it's not the same music.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light? Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Ah! We're getting enemies. Oh. 1 2.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
I lost the radio. The most fucking important part of this shit. Wait a minute. Guess I'm taking the cup with me.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
Dude, I'm just playing Portal.
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience. Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time, I'm just going to leave you here. You can pretend you've beaten the game if it makes it any richer for you, but as for me, I've had enough. So, why don't you get cozy in this room, and if you have any grand revolutionary ideas for the perfect...
No fall damage in Portal 2, or in Portal. Mhm. I think it's just fall down. Huh. Hmm. Yeah. Oh, back to my office. Get out some. Okay, not here, I guess.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
The end is never. It's starting to make more and more sense as
All of
this
his
goes on.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So this time I'll try doing the phone thing? Or should I try going through the red door this time?
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic, like a combination of a much smaller version and a much larger version of this exact room. It all made Stanley uncomfortable, and he started to bleed a little. This made him smile. At last, proof that he was human. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Okay.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly... Oh, no, you can't... Did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
Back, sack, and crack? What the fuck is that?
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Oh, but cages up
Now
on
that
the
we know
thing, so I
your
can't
choices
jump
are
off.
meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Be sure to make 8 choices. Okay. Yeah. Oh, here we are again.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
Nice being able to pick things up.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Okay. Interesting section here. Okay. Well, I guess I'll go through this door.
It's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever. Reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to. I'm still here in this pile of rubbish, with you, who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came... behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
3.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Sure. Hey.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
Whoa.
office.
No downstairs this time. And this office is different.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code. Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
It's not gonna actually recognize my mic, right?
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Night Shark 115?
Okay, fine. You're not going to do it. But you
Okay,
know what?
I thought
It's
so.
pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing
Why is
for
this
your
got a
respect.
panda
The kind
gun
of
to a
respect
panda's head?
Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward.
Oh boy.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay?
This is...
Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Uh-huh. Okay. So,
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
we'll try
This was
red
not
door.
the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge. What a room, Stanley thought to himself. What a room, what a room, what a room. This is what Stanley thought. What a room. What a room, what a room. What a room. Va-va-voom. What a room. Yes, really. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Okay.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not jump from the cargo lift while his emotion will cause death. Penalty for jumping off the cargo lift, $5,000.
Look,
Yeah.
Stanley, I think
Building
perhaps
in hell.
we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha,
The narrator
perhaps
is
you
not okay.
misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Now that the door is open, I don't want to go through it. Oh, no. Okay.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Yeah, okay. Pretty good. Anything else, though? It's an epic game where I'm getting kind of bored and I might want to go forward.
No, wait. Where are you going? Right. Where were we?
Yeah. But on the other hand...
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Okay.
Good, good. We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. Just stay here.
Yeah. Then again...
No. What do we talk about? You're risking everything we achieved here.
Okay.
You are going to stay here, aren't you?
Sure. But on the other hand...
You heard me before, didn't you? You will die. What about this isn't getting through to you?
Right, I don't want to die. It'd be bad. Gotta go back to the happy room. I'm not feeling that happy. I'm feeling stairs. Yep, definitely stairs. Definitely stairs. Here I go. 2 steps at a time. Dangerous as it can be. 1 step, 2 step, red step,
Please,
blue
no,
step.
Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Oh no, what is this? It's suicide. This isn't cool. Can I go through this? Oh fuck, I'm gonna die. Oh,
Please, Stanley,
well,
think about what you're doing.
okay. Jumping off. Maybe getting another ending. No more dialogue though. Just a room with colors. Maybe the happy room is the way to go. But on the other hand, death. But on the other hand, stairs. Wow, true happiness and bliss. Once again, forever and always. Nothing could ever ruin this moment except stairs, baby. Stairs sound good. Stairs and then lack of stairs. Lack of any foot thing whatsoever. And you're gone. Kaput. Ending. If he's not gonna talk anymore, then I'm done. There you go. Goodbye, cruel world.
No!
Oh.
Thank God. You lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Just wanted to do something fun.
There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
Thinking stairs.
Stanley,
Sounds
go
interesting.
back. There's nothing good that can come from this.
You're tempting me. Nope, stairs. Stairs it is. Stairs are pretty dope, I agree. Here we go.
No. No, no. What do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
Here you go again.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
I like to just
Perhaps
mix it up.
you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see. You'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
Yeah. On the other hand, stairs.
No, perhaps not.
I think I'll take another swing at that
God.
jump.
Is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You were literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
Here we go again.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
Yeah. We'll go back
Do
to
you
the room.
actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
Yeah. Let's chill here for a
I
bit.
wanted us
Yeah.
to be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I wish I still thought that was possible.
We'll just stand still. Do a flip off the stairs. Yeah, that sounds cool, actually. Doing a flip sounds cool. Again. I'm gonna try to crouch walk off the stairs, see if that does anything. Well, maybe I'll try jumping off in the ether. Whee.
Is it over?
Oh!
It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Oh boy. Are there any other endings?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I feel like we went through a lot in about 2.5 hours. Yeah, he was pretty sad.
When Stanley
know off the
came
top
to
of
a
their
set
head?
of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
That fern never came up. Let's see here. You can climb onto a desk and get out a window, but that's really hard. What? These images need to be much bigger. Oh my god. Space. Baby game. Uh-huh. Apparently there's an ending for playing that baby game for 4 hours. Also, if you go to the boss's office but trick the door, you can run all the way back. Wow, I'm like looking at an image here. Uh, yeah, we'll try, you know. Let's try this. Huh. So apparently typing in face punch changes the textures in the game.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
It's interesting. Doesn't seem to change the game, though. Whoops.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Okay. Get an achievement for clicking on 430 5 times. Oh, wait. What the fuck?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
Nope. Gotta start from the beginning. 30's further back. Right?
all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed him. Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
Okay.
I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks. No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
Let me just click on this one some more. Haven't done the guitar one. I'm seeing escape pod by backing out of the boss's room. So if we just go into the boss's room and leave, is that a different ending? Where's 417? There you are. Jump out the window.
Great.
What was that?
Now, go click a few times on door 437.
Let's back up, right? Lost. There it is.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
4 1 5.
Now, back to door number 437.
Yeah. Which window is it again? What was the number? The desk?
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine? All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
Oh my god. This is an achievement.
Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
He's sending you on a wild goose chase. 419. He knows what he's doing. 419. There you are. Input received.
Yes! This is great! You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416.
He's excited.
We've almost got it! Now the copy machine, do that one again!
So excited.
Finish it off, Stanley! 5 clicks on door 430! Yes! We did it! Oh, wow. That felt amazing. Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today. Just think, only a few minutes ago you believed an achievement was worth 5 little clicks. Really now? What were you thinking?
What was... Hang on. What is the climb out the window? $423 processes desk for the three Stanley's desk. Waiting input. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, hang on. $419. $423. Wait, waiting input. Received. That looked a little glitchy, right? What are you thinking of with the inputs has to be in different resets? Oh. Really? Okay, so what's the desk I climb out of? Window at 434. 434. Wait a minute. Is this thing moving? Or is it just making noise? What am I doing? What am I fucking doing right now? Oh. Okay. Hey, Aspen. Probably close to ending this stream, and we're going to start on Monster Hunter World not too long from now, but I'm trying to get out this window. How did I do that? Just let me up? Okay, so this chair. Maybe there's some halfway point. I think he crouched to get out the actual window. Oh, look at that.
At first,
There you go.
Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Um, no.
Ah, then in that case, we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is Rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Yeah, okay.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
Okay. So apparently, yeah. Let's go out the window and press yes now.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Yeah.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want, like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley,
Oh
who
boy.
people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. You too will become quite unbearable.
Whiteboard ending? Let's just restart. I haven't done that. But now I need to go to the boss's assistant's desk. I think that goes on forever.
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
Wait a minute. There's a few things here.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
What do you do for the whiteboard ending? You just click on the whiteboards?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
We'll get back to it. There's an input here.
Here's the door.
Now this door's open. 434 Stanley desk. Four. That'll be on a different ending. But this is new. This is apparently escape pod ending. Is this gonna be the Wonkavator? Is this gonna be a fucking Willy Wonka launch me into space? Nope. Okay. Keep going up. Oh god. This seems to be a lot of stairs. Having regrets. You reload the game until the corridor changes, and then you go into door 426. Let me try that next. Last one. flashlight. Huh. There we go. Uh-oh. I guess that was an ending. We win.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
So I guess we'll reset until we get blue corridor. But right now, there's a bunch of buttons. God. Oh, they keep lighting back up. The have ending. Have ending. Yes. Okay. Weird. I can see you just do that forever. Cool. So now we'll just restart for blue corridor. Four, two, six. Goob! Like Goob, I'm in hell. I'm pressing all the buttons, Goob. Here we go. 426. All right. That's right. This is the new corridor, right? Or it just starts in this hallway. No, maybe I'll just try again. Oh, it's when the office is blue. Nope. The corridor becomes blue. I don't know if you played D&D, but your talent at changing your voices would lend well to a D&D stream. I really want to do D&D. And if I do it, I definitely want to stream it. Still normal color. I'm caught up with Critical Role, watched a couple other things that are like D&D podcasts or D&D, stuff like that, and I really want to give it a go. Do I just keep resetting until that hallway that I'm seeing is blue? Oh! This must be out.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Console. Bark. Can I? Bark? Bark? Yeah, I got the whiteboard ending. Okay, launch options. You can apparently you can apparently open up console commands, and that gets you an ending. But I think that requires you like launch it from Steam in a different way. Just check. Properties, launch options. What does it say? Tilde console. That would work, right? Yeah, all that effort. Gotta catch them all. Let me try this. This probably won't work, and I don't know how to do it properly, but we'll see. Uh-huh. Oh, console. Yeah? Okay. Can I do that now? That let me use console. There's a secret disco? I think there's one more kind of you're stuck in it for good ending other than this console command ending, and then that'll be it. So I think we gotta go to the boss and do the keypad thing.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Almost.
Yet there was not
We
a
almost
single
done.
person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay, so I need to go keypad. Catwalk.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single
we gotta
minute
wait
to
for the
just
fucking
let the
song.
narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Let's see here. Boss. Back out keypad. Elevator.
Feeling soothed and
die.
rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Catwalk. Escape goes to the museum. For sure someone's over here. New music, my ass. Escape. Power. Wait before going up in display room and press light bulb button.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
It says wait before going up in display room. Press light bulb button. I think oh, I get it.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
So
What
instead of taking that
horrible
elevator at
secret
the very
did this
end, come
place
back here and
hold?
press this button
Stanley
again.
thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
So we're gonna do this, and then the other one is finding out how to get console commands to work in the game.
Now
And
the
that'll be the
monitors
final
jumped to life, their
ending.
true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Okay. So press this button.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to
Almost like I
accept
could
it
walk off of
blindly?
this. It's not gonna be back. Did I need to not press the elevator button? Oh, hey, there we go. Y'all ready for this? You never go. I'm dancing. This is vibe. Okay, so I'm gonna, yeah, I'm gonna look up how to launch Stanley Parable and how I can open console real quick. That'll be the last one. Stanley Parable console. Console commands. How to unlock the console. Hold up, this video is going to tell me how to do this. I have to go into launch options, which I know how to do that, but what do I got to type? Oh, this quality. Are you kidding me? It's the worst quality ever. Kill the console. Okay. Then close. And play it. I feel like I did that, but it didn't work. Okay, well, I'll exit out. Then go back in here. Properties. Launch options. Console. Let me just double check I'm writing that correctly. Ah, dash console. That makes much more sense. Okay. Close. Play. Hey. And then you type in SVGeeks1. Good. SV. I do this for Left 4 Dead to test out mods. 1.
Stanley, this is me being serious. In fact, this is my serious room. It's where I come to be serious. That table is the most serious table I could find. I looked at many, many tables, hundreds of tables. It's possible I looked at over 1,000 tables. I honestly don't know. The specific number isn't as important as the understanding that of all tables I looked at, this one is the most serious. I relate this story to impress upon you the extent to which this is the most serious room I have, which is why I brought you here. You just tried to activate server cheats, which of course runs the risk of breaking the entire game. You've got no respect for the strict order of scripted narrative events, and I just can't have that. It's time to get serious, Stanley. No jokes, no games. Outside of this room, I might be more tolerant of those things, but now we're in the room. Which is why I'm subjecting you to the most serious punishment I can think of. 100 billion trillion years standing here in the serious room. Perhaps after that, we can talk about the severity of your actions and whether you've learned anything. But until then, serious room, go.
And this is the serious ending. When you try to cheat, he locks you in here and you just can't go anywhere. Anyway, I think that's all the endings. I could be wrong. There could be one that I missed. Let's see here. Heaven, we got that. Whiteboard, we got that. Serious, we got that. Face punch, which was the texture change, we got that. Reluctant, that's when we close the door, we got that. Climbing out the window, we got the voiceover and the song, so we got both of those. Broom closet ending, technically. Staircase down, insane. I believe we did that. Yeah, it's when we were like flying through space and floating. We went insane and died on the street. We got the confusion ending for sure. We got the apartment wife ending. We got the unplug the phone ending. We got the jump off the catwalk ending. We got the red door ending, which is us killing ourselves by jumping off the catwalk over and over and over again to make the narrator unhappy. We got the ending where you rate the game like 1 out of 5. We got the museum ending. We got the secret disco. We got There's an elevator in the boss's room. Which one is that? I don't know what that is. We didn't get to play the game for 4 hours. Ending. I could look that one up, if I'm being honest. What's the elevator ending? Does anybody know what that one is? It's from the boss's office. Did we get that? Let me look that up. Let's just get these final two things. Let's look up the art ending, and what's this elevator ending for Stanley? Stanley Parable, elevator, boss office. Yeah, there's a secret elevator. The elevator room is accessible from within the boss's office after traveling along the main storyline at least 3 times in a row. And the room is a painting of a panda bear with a gun to its head and an elevator. Pressing the button will open the door, and pressing the button when inside the elevator will close the elevator doors. Okay. Let's see if let's see if we can get
All
that.
of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley
And
decided
if somebody
to go to the
wants
meeting room.
to
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
look up what the art ending is on YouTube and just link it to me in chat.
When Stanley came to a set
Then
of
we
2
can watch
open
that
doors,
after this.
he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
I believe
Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad...
Let's try this one more time. Let's try to get into the boss's office. This shouldn't take too long.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
This one is just 6 minutes.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave
I might have
of
to look at
disbelief,
the ending for this one
Stanley
if it's not
decided to go up
immediately.
to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay, those both seem to be the same links, so... This is not the
Stepping
same
in.
boss office. We'll try this one more time, and then we'll look up what the elevator ending is, because I think
The meeting room.
it's the room.
Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
it was that ending where they told me to speak into the
When
thing,
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
and it just game overed me. That's the office I need.
Yet there was not a
So if
single
I don't get that,
person
then I'm
here
just going to look that
either.
up as well.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Is there usually a window there? There is. Okay, it's not the right office, so... I'm going to go ahead and just close this out. And give me just a quick sec. While I figure out what to do here.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a pro...
Okay. Okay, we'll skip ahead into that thing. And let me do monitor capture. Select region. Right there. That should do it. Okay. And then click that. It's a little weird, but that's
nothing
fine.
but piranha. Now you have to click the second button to avert the puppy's death. Say hi. I hope you weren't expecting more regular intervals of commentary from me, but that's not why you're here, is it? You're here for the game, for the art, for the endlessly spiraling sense of pointlessness and despair. Yes, this is what drives your every action. Keep clicking that button for hope, for freedom, for science, for love. Don't ever, ever stop.
Okay, I skipped past the beginning, but...
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of it on. And would you?
Yes.
The baby choir, endlessly clear notes on enthusiasm. Keep it up, Stanley. Just 3 hours. Make sure it's effective. Be sure to keep notes on your
15 minutes
experience.
in.
Good to see that enthusiasm. Keep it up, Stanley. Just 3 hours and 45 minutes left to go. Okay, so clearly you're in it for the long haul. Although I find it hard not to believe you're simply running a program to click the button over and over automatically, which kind of ruins the point of the game, don't you think? Wouldn't that take the art out of it? You can tell me in your post-playtest analysis.
Just popping in to say hi.
I hope you weren't expecting more. You know, I've been spending the last 2 hours here embroiled in thought, and it's occurred to me, this game is incomplete. It's missing something. It still doesn't have that oomph. What is it, I thought to myself? What could possibly be missing from this incredible experience? And then in a moment of rapture, as though delivered by angels, it came to me. Before this moment, I was blind, but those days are behind us. I now understand the true manifestation of this game. It needs a puppy. That's right. This puppy is being lowered toward an aquarium filled with nothing but piranha. Now you have to click the second button to avert the puppy's death in addition to the baby's. This is it, Stanley. Art. I did it. Video games are art. Ah, but you have a good 2 hours or so to go, so I'll just let you get to that. No time to waste when there is such a meaningful game to be played. Bonne chance, mon ami.
This is so fucked.
Ah, good to see both the puppy and the baby are still alive. It warms my heart to see how deeply the message of this game has resonated with you. I can only imagine the joy welling up in your chest, the sheer joy of such pure distilled life essence flowing through your veins. It must be amazing. I'm jealous of you, truly I am. No, seriously, I'm deeply envious of your position at this very moment. Ah, the joy of artistic expression must be even stronger now. Drink it in, Stanley. Few people on this planet will ever get such an experience. Peer through space and time. The universe unravels itself at your feet. This is the one true meaning of life. I know we said this would go on for 4 hours, but what if you never stopped? Think about it. You could just keep going forever. Visitors would come from around the world to see the man who never stopped pushing the buttons. You would be famous. That's what you've always wanted, right? To be famous? That and the surging power of artistic beauty to flow through you for all of eternity. You could have both of these things. We'll talk about it when you get there. Have we really been doing this for over 3.5 hours? Goodness, how time flies. Wouldn't you say it's flown? Oh, no, you don't have to answer that. I understand you're quite busy. Just keep at it. Almost there.
Oh my god.
Nearly there, Stanley.
art itself is about to burrow into your skull. Aren't you excited for spiritual immortality? For transcendence and oneness with the beauty and essence of all beings? Just a few seconds now. Here it comes.
But you cannot read this text. What the fuck? Do you think this is worth 4 hours of button pushing? Saving puppy and baby? What is this missing texture that keeps popping up? This is your reward for your work here today. Huh. I can see this ending specifically being like a stretch goal for like a charity incentive or something like that. Like somebody playing Desert Bus and then this, the fucking baby and dog button. Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and search for the elevator ending real quick. Nothing happens. It just reset. See if I can't find it. Closet window endings, elevator ending. Please don't. Don't. I don't want to talk over it.
Well,
No! That's not what I'm looking for. God damn it. I don't need the how to do it, I just want to see it. The elevator. Maybe this is not somebody talking over it. Okay, this might be it. There's the panda with a gun to his head. It's 5 minutes long. Speaking of time, yeah. Wait, he hit the down button and then the up button. Stanley. It's the narrator scouting to the song. Yeah, this is... getting bored now. Before it falls down elevator shaft. Yeah, I think the this just goes on forever. You're stuck in the elevator at this point. The minimum. The music changed. You're doing the shaking now. No, it's meant to just confusing. The minimum cheer amount is to avoid spamming. People can just like do one bit over and over and over. It's nothing personal about people who make smaller, but the 100 bits is the minimum. It's going down the hill, even though we pressed the up button. Yeah, this... Oh, it actually opens up at some point. Let's just skip to that. Oh. Oh, you can just press the button to get out. You go nowhere. Okay. Cool. Cool. So, that was the Stanley Parable. All the endings, even though I had to scum the baby one because I didn't want to sit there for 4 hours. But I'm gonna stop the stream for just a little bit, and I'm gonna be right back with some Monster Hunter World Iceborne replay with a few friends here. So stick around. I'll be... Yeah, that's a way to end it. Climactic elevator. Yeah, that was all the endings. We did it. Your timing. Yeah, I know. I'm still streaming, so if you want to stick around and talk, we're still streaming, but if you want to see the endings, the VOD will be there. Anyway, I'm going to stop it, and I'll be back in just